Guys, what's up? It's Win, and today I want to answer somebody's question for the first time. I know you guys have got your own ideas for decks and everything, and this is a really good question from Ordinal Plane 35, and I thought I'd try it out. It's actually a pretty good concept, honestly. I haven't really played around with the Electro Wizard since I got it, but he said, "Hey Win, I don't know if you have the Electro Wizard or Miner, but I'd like it if you try to make a deck around those two, preferably a cycle deck, and thanks in advance." So, with that in mind, I went into Clash Royale, and I actually played around with it, and I think I've got one that works pretty well here. I'm just going to show you these three replays really quick, and I think they're pretty good because each one kind of highlights a different opponent every time, and you know how you can shut it down with this type of deck. So at first, against J-Dog here, we've got, you see a Hog Elite Barb deck. So if we watch this, I think I shut it down pretty well. I don't remember what the score was. I think it was just 1-0. But you see, the point is, for it to be a cycle deck, the cost has to be pretty low, so I got it down to 3.1. I forgot to show the deck, but I'll show you after this replay. But you see, I'm going to start with that Ice Golem. He's going to start with his Spear Goblins. He keeps splitting them in the back, as you see throughout this replay, which is a interesting strategy, I guess. But, you know, it's such a cheap card that doesn't do much. And you see he missed my Electro Wizard there with the Fireball, so that's going to be a huge help to me. And I managed to sneak my Ice Golem in just enough to push those Elite Barbarians off and get them to actually attack my Ice Golem. Thank God. And you see on that right side, we took his tower all the way down to 454. So we can cycle pretty fast. And now I'm actually back to my Electro Wizard again. And those archers do get a couple hits off on that left tower. And we're in pretty good standing right now with under 2 minutes to go now. So he's going to split those Spear Goblins again in the back. This time I'm going to go Mega Minion. Kind of use that to cycle around back to my other cards. So I'm going to go Musketeer on the left here. It's not going to stop that Hog. He's going to get a decent amount of damage off. But now, I've kind of got a good push on the left with a Musketeer. You know, if I decide to do something with that, I can get a lot of damage. So I'm going to go with the, you see the Miner to help block. And that Musketeer is going to get some pops off. And the Fireball gets those Elite Barbs in that explosion too. So a lot of good splash damage to try to just keep suppressing his attack. And you see that Ice Golem, it not only took out those skeletons, but also did a little bit of damage and slowed down those Elite Barbs, which is huge. And he's going to Fireball that, not a big deal, which is good for us because with that Electro Wizard, it's so weak to Fireball. In fact, they made it so that a Fireball will kill it in one hit. So I was really happy to use this Fireball. So this time, I just kind of threw the Electro Wizard in there, see how he'd respond, get him out of cycle. You see, he couldn't really use those Spear Goblins like how he normally wants to. So, actually, I guess his Hog does take my tower. So, we're down a whole tower. It's double elixir, though, and you see he's actually got, like, barely any health on both of his towers. So, I'm able to zap away those skeletons and get that tower taken care of on the right with a few chops from that Miner. And he comes in with the Elite Barbs and the Spear Goblins, and I accidentally missed them with the Fireball. But the Electro Wizard shut them down pretty well, and the Ice Golem was a good distraction. And you see, he's going to have to waste that Fireball on the Electro Wizard. But luckily for us, that Electro Wizard has actually already served its purpose by helping to take out those Elite Barbarians. So now, I'm up by, what would I be, like 400 hit points, and I can just kind of play some good defense, because at this point, I can get some good chips in with my Miner, and Musketeer, actually, in the middle is a really good attack. And you see I missed his Elite Barbs again with a Fireball, because they run so fast that I'm just not used to trying to hit them. But you see I do get, I think, 3 pops off of that Miner there, which is pretty good. And the Zap to just take care of those Spear Goblins and get that extra like 60 damage or whatever it is on the tower. And Electro Wizard there, really good. You know, I can be a little more, I guess you could say, like, liberal with how I use my zap and stuff. I don't have to worry about saving it, because with the Electro Wizard, you basically have a whole second zap. So, and then of course with this Ice Golem, you have like a third line of defense for the skeleton army and all that types of stuff. So I'm just gonna keep putting it there on defense, because if he tries to send in anything like Elite Barbs, I need my Ice Golem to slow it down. So see, he goes with the Fireball, and he actually almost got me there, but that Musketeer in the middle, he kind of overextended himself. He didn't have enough elixir to stop that in time. You see he put those Spear Goblins down, but they didn't engage my Musketeer until after it had actually started shooting the tower. So that was good. So actually, let me highlight this deck really fast. So this is what it is. I mean, you just saw all 8 cards there, so I don't need to spend too much time on it. But it is those 2 legendaries. That is the core of this deck that they're asking for me to kind of highlight. And then Ice Golem is great. Everybody's running Elite Barbarians right now. It's kind of annoying, but Ice Golem, it's great for stopping them. You know, it can absorb a few hits, and it does a little bit of damage, and it slows them down, and it gives you enough time to counterattack and, you know, try to defend. So moving on to Mega Minion, just a great, you know, supporting card. 3, you know, really cheap. You can help cycle around. You know, if you don't like your hand, put your Mega Minion out, and then you can kind of build a push around that. And then the Zap is really cheap. Everything, you know, is under 4 in this deck, so that average elixir cost is 3.1. Archers, I don't know if I like them in there. They weren't really a, you know, a vital role in that last replay. But, you know, I can't really think of anything else to substitute. I just need, like, another kind of supporting card. I might consider doing, like, Skeleton Army if you run into, like, some problems with a tank. But I think you can contain stuff well enough, I think, with this. You know, with the Fireball to try to dismantle any big pushes they put behind a Golem, put behind a Giant, things like that. And the Electro Wizard has a great, you know, Zap, can disrupt an entire push by you just stunning everything, you know, for that quick half a second, can easily shut down, you know, anything that's coming at you. So next replay you see is Hog Freeze. So let's check this out. Another, you know, pretty popular meta deck right now is Hog. Although this guy, he decided he didn't want to run Elite Barbarians in there. He wanted to go with the free spell. And he does have that Furnace too. Furnace up top, like you see there in the middle, is a really powerful way to start. It has a decent amount of health. I think it's, for tournament standard, it's over 1,000 hit points. So it can absorb 4 hits from a Hog, I think, before it dies. And of course, if it spits out any Fire Spirits, like in the meantime, that's just going to be extra splash damage to take out that Hog or anything that's going against you. And I tried to get all 3 of those, the Tower, the Furnace, and the Musketeer, in that Fireball, but it didn't work. But my Miner did take it down enough. So you see, I'm going to use this Ice Golem to tank. And I've got my Zap ready. I selected it, but he was too slow on the Mega Minion. So my Musketeer did get a few hits off. And looks like this Mega Minion is going to die there. So you see the Archers kind of were a little bit better here, but unfortunately 1 Fire Spirit will get in and get on those Archers. So ultimately they do die, but they did kind of soak up a little bit of damage, take care of that Ice Golem. You know, it was a great card there just to kind of keep him at bay, because if we don't address those Fire Spirits, every single time they come down, one of them is going to get a little bit of damage on the tower. So see, I'm going to go Electro Wizard there, and he's going to miss my Electro Wizard again. You know, he does a lot of damage, so he actually will kill the target and move on and just start walking down the lane a lot faster than you think. So the Electro Wizard, you really have to lead him with that Fireball, because you don't know, you know, with him targeting 2 different things, and you know the way his attack style and everything and how much damage he does, he can kill stuff pretty fast. So you're gonna have to be really accurate with those Fireballs and really know where he's gonna go next in order to get him in that Fireball. So you know, I was really lucky that he missed. And of course, I didn't say it, but you saw I put that Ice Golem down to distract that the Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie ended up walking all the way across and back up the other lane. And my towers kept hitting it, and it did enough damage where that Valkyrie didn't get a single hit off. So now it's an interesting situation where my Miner's tanking. I got a Mega Minion and a Musketeer in, and the Musketeer does get a shot off, even with a sliver of health. And luckily for me, he burned his Mega Minion. You know, for him to try to stop that little push I had cost him 3 elixir, and you know, it keeps your opponent like using their cards, getting out of cycle. And, you know, it's just, I think with it being a 3.1 deck, getting it down to that lower cost, I think was really crucial to making this deck kind of successful. And you see his free spell, he was getting it, but because my stuff is cheap enough, he couldn't get all of it in the free spell. And even if he did, you know, freeze my tower, freeze my Musketeer, see, I can put down Archers or something, do a little bit more damage. And he was 1 or 2 hits away from taking that tower, but you see, I held him off, I think, decently enough. And, you know, keep trying to take out that Furnace and all the stuff that he was putting up. I think it worked out pretty well. We didn't give up a single tower. You know, 1-0, hey, it's going to win the game, right? So this next one, you can see this is like a chip deck. This is kind of in the meta right now too. Miner, Goblin Barrel, Princess, anything that can just whittle your tower down. Just, you know, like a little annoying damage here and there. But I think I I wouldn't necessarily call this deck, this, you know, Miner Electro Wizard Cycle deck, I wouldn't call this a chip deck, because it does pack a punch. You know, it has the Mega Minion, has the Electro Wizard. It does a fair amount of damage. It's not this type of little, you know, nitpicky damage that you see like the Miner's gonna do. And he does have the Minion Horde, so I shut that down pretty well with the Zap and stuff. But but like I was saying, I wouldn't call this a chip deck. It does a decent amount of damage. You can get a good push put together behind that Miner, like you see right here. So the Electro Wizard coming in the back, I think it's protected pretty well. But then you see he does have the Skeleton Army. But, you know, in terms of anything else besides the Skeleton Army, it was behind those archers, behind the Miner, and that Mega Minion. And he basically got his tower down to 115, and that was a really good fireball right there to take out the Princess and the Furnace. And then he's coming in now with a Miner Goblin Barrel. Pretty good combo, but you see the Zap is going to have no trouble taking away those goblins. And then the Miner's just left to get a little bit of damage. I think a Miner, before it dies, it does like 300 or 400 damage, I'm not sure. But, you know, it's not really a significant amount. So now we're basically tied in Elixir, but I have his one tower basically dead at this point. And even though he put his Furnace on the left side, you know, I can really fireball that tower away now at any time I want. But I'm gonna try to get something else in there. That's why I was kind of waiting. And the great part about this is I can now push on the right side, because now that I know his tower on the left is basically gone, I can now start to bother him on the right side and force him to play both lanes when he really wants to take my left tower. And you see he goes Minion Horde again, because I think he saw that actually, I guess I have my Zap. But you see, I used my Ice Golem, so he's trying to make sure I can't stop him, but he didn't know I had Fireball, so I shut that down pretty well. And I'm taking a little bit of damage on the left side here, but he's also taking a lot of damage on his right side. So ultimately, at this point, I think I realize I'm going to have to really push the offensive, because I got to start getting that tower on the right down. And even if I lose my tower on the left, you know, I'm still in a pretty good situation to win this game 2-1, which is what I ultimately will go on to do. So he's going to take that tower. That's not a big deal. And he went Goblin Barrel there. Like in the middle of my attack, he decided to go Goblin Barrel, which I think caused him to really waste that Elixir, because he didn't get a single hit on my tower. And he didn't defend very well either. So see, I've got him down to, after this fireball, 283. And you see, he knows now. He goes, okay, he used his fireball. Now I can use Minion Horde. And I'm going to shut that down with the Ice Golem and the Electro Wizard. It's a great backup. If you don't have your Zap ready, you can go Electro Wizard, and there you go. There you have it. That's going to basically be the win here if I can just get my fireball. There we go. He kind of had a decision to make. He goes, do I put my Skeleton Army on the Miner, or do I put my Skeleton Army on the Electro Wizard? And he had to go Electro Wizard, because that the Electro Wizard on a tower alone will do a huge amount of damage. I think one fist, let's see if we can click on him. Damage is 200, so one hand does 100, the other hand does the other 100, and together, you know, on one tower, he's just going to go like 200, 200, all this damage. And he basically said I had to stop this Electro Wizard with a Skeleton Army, but that left that Miner basically, you know, free to just chip away at that tower and get it down where one fireball is going to take it out. So this is, I think, a pretty fun cycle deck. It's 3.1. It's really fast, and it has a lot of great ways to stop, you know, whatever your opponent's going to put at you. Elite Barbarians, especially with the Zap from the Electro Wizard, the Ice Golem, and just having Zap and Fireball. It's a great way to just control your opponent. You saw I shut down and stopped his Minion Horde. I think 3 different ways with the Zap, and then one time I used the Ice Golem. And then the archers can help pick them off too, and with the Electro Wizard coming in to just, you know, finish them off. It's a great way to shut it down, and you can get some really good Elixir, you know, advantages after that, because the Minion Horde costs 5, and that's a pretty expensive thing to put down for how easily it's defeated. So if you can try to, you know, shut down a Minion Horde, you can have a great counter push, and like you saw in those replays, take a few towers and get a few wins. And I think this is a really fun deck, and let me know how you guys like it. I think this is a really cool concept. I hope that whoever asked, let's see, what was it? Ordinal Plane 35. I hope this is a good deck, and I hope you let me know how you like it and if you use it and everything. So anyway, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more strategy videos like this. And if you guys have any questions and want me to make a deck for you and see how it works, leave them below in the comments. I'm always, you know, willing to take suggestions and everything. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.